Really like can Andretti get into the slipstream. Blundell in the Motorola car. The blue and white players' car of Greg Moore is in there as well. Then it's Alonso Jr. and then it's Michael Andretti. These two battling for second position. And there you can see he's 1.6 seconds, it's 1.3 seconds now behind Paul Tracy. They are reeling Tracy in a little bit.
And they are both being held up by Greg Moore. That Michael Andretti slid very, very wide going into that corner. Finally, Greg Moore pulls out of the way. Good move by him. But Andretti was well up in the grey going into that turn. And one hopes he hasn't got a problem here because he's having some trouble getting past Greg Moore. There he goes.
Yeah, he's passed Andretti, still there in third. Michael Andretti then losing time to Alonso Jr. That will give Al a chance to concentrate more on looking ahead rather than keeping an eye on his mirrors, if he can do that at all at 190 miles an hour, and he chases after teammate Paul Tracy. Tracy's lead just 1.3 seconds as they scythe their way through the traffic here. Tracy has done this earlier in the race, opening up a stint very, very quickly, but then as the tyres get more up to temperature, he seems to drop back a little bit, and that's occurred again as Alonso Jr. on the other hand seems to pick up pace as we go through each session. But now Junior's got a bit of traffic to get past. He's got Blundell ahead of him, he's got Franchitti ahead of him, and all of a sudden Andretti's caught right up again. So Junior now really has his work cut out. Andretti's going to try and take advantage of this. Can he go through as well? Mark Blundell gets passed by Alonso Jr. Blundell is also going to be passed by Michael Andretti, but he couldn't quite get past Hunter in that.
No, he had a good run off that corner, didn't he, Michael Andretti, but just not enough steam to get alongside Alonso Jr. Smart move by both of those guys. They're really they're showing their experience here. They're getting through the traffic, they're thinking ahead. They're probably planning at least a couple of corners ahead, and on this track it takes some doing. That's what experience is all about.
So Andretti just behind Unser still. Remember, in fourth place, we've lost track of fourth place, man, because we're so intent on this battle for third. It's Gilles de Ferran in fourth, Jimmy Vasser fifth, Bobby Rahal is sixth, seventh for Brian Herter, eighth for Parker Johnston, then Raul Boesel in ninth, and Richie Hearn is in 10th. Guterman's dropped all the way down to 11th position now, having a bad end of afternoon by the looks of things for Maurizio Guterman. Pruitt in 12th, Franchitti in 13th, and Blundell in 14th.
Yeah, Franchitti there and Blundell, they're just a couple of laps down, and right ahead of them on the road is the rest of this battle. There's Parker Johnstone, Raul Boesel, Richie Hearn, Mauricio Guterman and Scott Pruitt, and then the race leader trying to work his way through that battle. So they're all right in contention there. There's a heck of a lot to play for positions 8 through 14 are pretty much nose to tail.
Some more radio communications going on as Michael Andretti still tucked in the slipstream of Alonso Jr. Dario Franchitti is the car that they've got next on their list, lying in 13th place. Franchitti lapping quickly though, as you can see, and he's certainly not getting in the way of this battle for second as yet. But Al just lost a bit of time there.
Yeah, he was just hanging back a little bit there. He wanted to get a good run out of turn 2 so he can get past Franchitti, but he got a little bit sideways there. This is a chance, Michael Andretti. He's down to the inside.
Michael Andretti takes second position away from Alonso Jr. He read that situation beautifully, and Al caught himself out really in trying to get past Dario Franchitti. But of course it could happen the other way, because Michael now has to get past Franchitti. He's also got to get past his other group of cars ahead. Michael down on the inside. He seems to be able to place that car more or less where he wants to, and that's how he got the advantage. There's the pass once again as Michael got past Alonso Jr. and up into second place. So Penske's day still is under attack from Michael Andretti and the Swift.
He's right behind. That is Paul Tracy right in front of him with that group of slow cars. And Paul Tracy, who is slowing up. Michael Andretti looks to the inside. He can't make a move that time. He'll wait for a clear opportunity. Great move by Michael Andretti.
This is the battle for the lead then. You can see the car of Paul Tracy right in front of you. You ride with second place man Michael Andretti. He looks to the inside, but Paul Tracy says no way, not there, man. You're going to wait a little moment, but Paul has still got other cars to deal with as well.
Michael knows he has a faster car, doesn't he? You can see it in his driving. He knows he doesn't have to push the issue yet. He knows that once the opportunity does come, and it will come, he's confident of that, he's not going to push his luck just yet. That car is the first 1 mile over for the Swift chassis. Fantastic effort from that Newman Haas team.
Yes, and there's still some 45 laps to go, so he doesn't have to take any big risks to get past Tracy here. Just look at how he can seemingly hold a tighter line at the same speed as Paul Tracy coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. And the car, we got a yellow. The yellow has come out. We have a yellow flag has been called. Now, oh, it's Blundell. Mark Blundell has hit the wall. He's ripped off the right front, and it doesn't look too badly damaged as these things go, but Mark has caused another yellow flag. Just looking out of the commentary box window, Jeremy, it's a bit of cloud around as well. I hope that the rain stays away. It does look to me as though we could get some rain later on this afternoon, and that would just add to the fun as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's certainly in the forecast. It's supposed to not to get here, I think, until the evening. 45 laps to go, and under green flag conditions that goes past in a flash, doesn't it? But a great shame for Mark Blundell, really doing a nice job in 14th position there, but that was a good effort, Mark Blundell. A shame his race is over so early, but a good effort nonetheless from the Englishman.
Safety car comes up to deal with Mark Blundell, who sits in his car, probably the safest place to be when everybody else is still going around the track, although they're all going around slowly now because the pace car is leading the field, led by Paul Tracy, with Michael Andretti right behind him. Now there'll be a fascinating restart because Michael has seemed so quick on the restarts of the last couple of times. He seems to be able to just get that Swift going very quickly on cold tyres, and it just works so well. So Tracy's going to be under attack, there's no doubt about it, on the first lap after the green flag.
That's very true. What is also true is that Paul Tracy is no slouch when it comes to the restart. We see Mark Blundell climbing out of the car under his own steam. Boy, he's had a tough time on the ovals, hasn't he? But I'm sure he learned a lot today. He had a very good run going. He was starting there with some very experienced drivers on these oval tracks, and a fine effort by Mark Blundell. Shame it ends against the wall, but I think when he looks at the big picture, he'll be proud of his performance this afternoon.
Yes, it's had a tough time, there's no doubt about that, but it's just part of the learning process. It's got to be gone through. We didn't actually see what caused that, of course. Difficult to see whether it was purely a mistake on his part or whether he got tied up with another car. Very difficult to see at this stage.
Yeah, running in some pretty heavy traffic there with some pretty heavy hitters. He was right in there with the leading pack, wasn't he? It was very interesting, I thought, that when Paul Tracy came up, he got past Dario Franchitti and Mark Blundell before that pretty easily. About 10-12 laps ago, he wasn't able to get past Scott Pruitt, and that was when he was really having his hands full of Michael Andretti. So smart driving by Paul Tracy. They're all running very, very competitively. This is how close this series is. It's difficult to make a pass. He was being careful not to lose a position as much as to put those guys a lap down. So smart driving all around.
A couple of pit stops being made, one by Roberto Moreno, who you ride with, and also it looked to me as though Dario came in as well. Remember, these guys were on a different strategy because they stopped out of sequence earlier on. And also one of the Brahma cars coming in, and that's likely to be Raul Boesel, I would think, but I couldn't quite see which car it was. Greg Moore has been in as well. There is, it was Raul Boesel just coming out of the pits as well. No, wasn't it? It was Scott Pruitt, sorry. Scott Pruitt, the championship leader, lying down in 12th place, who was into the pits then.
Nothing to lose there. He was the last guy on that second, one lap down, so a good move by the Brahma team.
Riding on board with Jimmy Vasser. Jimmy's having a very quiet afternoon, but he's there in 5th place, and he's finished every race in the points so far in the championship this year. Always Mr. Consistent, that's how he won the series last year. Hasn't had quite the same pace though this year. His best result, I think, a 5th place so far this year. The rest of the time he's only just been in the points, but again he's stayed out of trouble here today, hasn't he, Jeremy, so far?
You know, he knows what it takes now to win a championship. He's done that. He did it last year. He's now finished, I think it's 20 races in a row that car has finished. Remarkable effort there by Grant Weaver's crew, and Jimmy Vasser's had a couple of strong runs. He was actually third, of course, wasn't he, at Homestead, the first race of the season. Had a little bit of bad luck in several of the races, but he's been right thereabouts. Again, he's a shrewd young man, is Jimmy Vasser. He's not the most flamboyant of characters, perhaps, at least in the public eye, but he's matured greatly as a driver, and he knows what it takes to win a championship. You have to finish all the races.
Patrick Carpentier into the Bettenhausen pit. Been a bit of a disappointing afternoon for the French-Canadian after that superb qualifying effort to be third on the grid here, and various problems have seen him drop back down the order, so he's now in 15th place, but we'll hear a lot more